Okay, so welcome everybody. My name's Sarah. I'm hosting today for Marketing for Hippies, and we're so happy and grateful that Bradley's joining us again. He was here in the membership back at the beginning of September, and now he's giving a TED talk about thriving in business without social media. And ironically, we're actually streaming to social media. We're streaming on Facebook. So hello to anybody who's watching on Facebook. I would like to just give a little warning to people here in the membership. If you are going to ask a question today or share something, just be aware that it's actually going beyond the walls of the membership. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Bradley. Thank you very much for being with us today.
I'm so happy to be here. It's always good vibes when I get to come to the Marketing for Hippies community. So thank you for hosting. Thank you, Tad, wherever you are in Europe right now. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited. This has been a very popular workshop. The first time I delivered this workshop ever was about a year and a half ago, and it was to this community. And I remember we had about 1,100 people sign up for the workshop. And it was when that happened that I was like, oh, this is something that, like, there's a lot more people that are trying to escape social media. And so today, this is going to be fast and furious. So have a pen, notebooks, or page that you can open up that you can start to take some notes. I'm going to share my story of leaving social media 7 years ago, what happened when I left social media, how I recovered from social media, and the 18 relationships-based marketing strategies that I have learned, practiced, and implemented through my businesses, Magic Media, Magic Kids, and also for the partners that we work with and the people that I coach inside of my Magic Mind community. For those of you that don't know, I have a training that starts at noon today and goes until November 9th. So I'll talk about that later, but the link's there. It's my signature workshop training. So I'll just plant that seed now, and you'll learn what signature workshops are shortly. So I'm going to, can I share my screen there, Sarah? The first question I always love to start with is, why is it that you want to leave social media? Share in the chat. Let me know. This workshop I've facilitated for over 3,000 people over the last year. That's 3,000 people on my email list from doing this workshop. And the question I always pose to people is, when was the last time posting on social media grew your list by over 3,000 people? Yeah, Julie says, it's a time sucker. It's so consuming, distracting. Looking for more meaningful connections. Yeah, the distraction thing, that's how they made the game. The game is meant to be distracting. It's meant to pull you in and keep you there. Mind control and censorship. It's exhausting. It's a distorted reality. It's hard to be authentic on social media. Yes, these are all true things. Okay, I'm going to share my slides now. Can you see what I see? Thrive in life and business without social media. Thank you for the answer. So these are very common amongst the folks who join this. So these are your reasons for wanting to escape social media. By the end of today, the cage door will be open and you will be the one who has to set yourself free. So for me, the reasons were super duper clear. 3 years before I left social media, I started a group called Evacuate Facebook, and the group grew in popularity, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do you actually build a business without social media? What do you do? Like, I was all in on social media. I did Facebook for probably about 10 years. I was one of those posters that was posting 2-3 times a day, every day for years. I was putting all my best content up there, hoping somebody would eventually notice me and give me their money. And it was a very ineffective process. I mean, my work days back then were anywhere from 9 to 14 hours a day. And I can't even remember how many hours of that was just wasted on social media. Some of the reasons as to why I left. Well, before I get to that, let me just share the story. So what happened is, like, 3 years I wanted to leave. It felt really out of alignment. And my son was born in June 7 years ago. And I had this experience on a mountaintop, and I'm watching the sunset thinking about my life, this new business we were building. For those of you that know my work with the Great E-Course Adventure, it's kind of like Saturday Night Live meets Indiana Jones in an online business training. And we worked our asses off on it. We spent 9 months producing it. We built this incredible gamified platform, and it was a work of art. We were very proud of it. So I was really lit up in this moment. And as I'm watching the sun set over the horizon, I'm sitting there, I'm enjoying the moment, and then suddenly my brain starts to think in Facebook. And I'm imagining what I'm going to type on my computer later on to describe the sunset I was watching. And in that moment, I realized that my thoughts were not my thoughts. They were Facebook's thoughts. My brain was hacked, and it felt really invasive to just have this total awareness of my brain being hacked. It did not feel good. Anybody out there can relate to that. It was really gross. And that was it. That was my final straw for me. I went home, told my wife, Celeste, I'm leaving social media, and I got as many contacts as I could. And then I quit the day after, which was really, really scary. For me, some of the reasons that just kept coming up for me around like why I wanted to leave were, rather than connect us, it divides us. I mean, that was 7 years ago. Look how much division has been sown since then. It's even worse. Rather than being inspired, we feel anxious. I mean, depression and anxiety are through the roof now. Rather than building friendships, we get followers. This is a very weird and twisted thing when you really think about it. Like, what we're trying to do is we're trying to put ourselves out there in a way that people will follow us. It's not necessarily an authentic or real way. Rather than being more connection, we have more loneliness. And rather than feeling safe to share our thoughts, we censor them. And now they're being censored for us. Hooray! We can't actually speak our truth. We can't actually be authentic. We can't actually be in relationship. We can't actually do the things that we want to do in a village. And rather than being free, we become addicted to our devices. Anybody out there addicted to your devices? Even without social media, I check my email way too frequently. So, social media was just one of the things that I was addicted to. Get that out of the way. There's less things to be addicted to. So leaving was terrifying. That's me. That's what my face literally looked like the day I left social media. It was really, really terrifying. So I deleted the accounts. After I deleted the accounts, I just kind of sat there and waited. I'm like, somebody's gonna call me, people will text me. Nothing. It was like crickets. It was radio silence. It was so shocking to my system. 10 years invested in social media. Did my social media friends call me? No. Did my social media friends text me? No. Did my social media friends invite me to parties? No. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. I realized it was all just an illusion. None of those friends and followers really actually cared. None of them were there for me. None of them were there for my family. They weren't coming to feed my family and I, when we had my baby. It was my local community on Salt Spring Island, British Columbia, where I live, that was showing up for me. And that was when I really realized, one, I need a new marketing strategy because now I'm not on social media. And two, I need to build real relationships in the real world. And so I started a men's group 5.5 years ago called Man Ventures. Every Tuesday night, we get together. Whatever guys show up on Tuesday, decide what we do the following Tuesday. And you can't do the same things 2 weeks in a row. And it's become this incredible outlet and this group of fathers and men. And, it goes from, we'll do art things to fire circles, saunas, to sports nights, to dressing up as pirates, getting in groups on canoes, going to a private part of the island, hiding treasures in the forest and battling each other with foam swords. We've done everything. And it's been a phenomenal way to get to know a group of brothers. And then when a man has a child, we'll show up, we'll chop their winter supply of firewood, we'll show up and we'll do building projects with each other. And we're learning to show up for each other in the real world, because who's not going to show up for you if you get sick, and who's not going to show up for you if you're having troubles in your life is your Facebook friends, because they're all over the world. So even though today is about marketing and we're talking about online business, I can't stress enough how fulfilling it's been in my life and how important it is that we build real community in the real world. I would much rather be in a room with all of you right now doing this than online and Zoom, but here we are. So what I've come to realize over the years is that the world does not need more social media. We don't need better algorithms. We don't need more platforms. What we need is more social connection. And today, a lot of what we're going to be talking about is social connection. Even though it is online, what we're trying to do is create connections in the world with people. So my first question for all you, you can share your answers in the chat. This is an opportunity to be truthful to yourself and vulnerable. Number one, how much time do you spend on social media? There's no shame in this. I've heard people say anywhere from 3 hours a week. One person that came to this workshop said she does about 60 to 80 hours a week on social media. She had a bunch of different businesses and her main avenue was social media. So what's your average? What do you figure? And being on social media means scrolling, posting, preparing to post, like creating the actual content, the writing, the producing, the editing, commenting on people's stuff, responding. And yes, Messenger is also a part of that social media realm. So what's the average that you're thinking it might be? So 6 to 8 hours a week, less than 30 minutes during the weekdays. Good for you. That's some discipline. 0. Way to go, Cassandra. Congratulations. What else? How many hours? Anybody over 10 hours a week? Maybe 30 minutes a day. Beautiful. 12 to 15 hours a week. I would say the average is somewhere between 10 hours to 15 hours a week. So, nobody's really monitoring this. We don't know how much time we have on there. And this is all the social media platforms. So, let's just say it is 10 hours. Let's just say we're not aware of how much time we're actually spending there, and 10 hours goes by. That's 40 hours a month. What could you do with that extra 40 hours a month? And then the other question I have is, how much money does your social media time actually generate? Your time on social media, does it generate money? Is it $0? Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Are you crushing it? If you're crushing it, there's going to be some stuff here, but this workshop's not necessarily speaking to you. If you're not crushing it, if you don't even know how much money you're getting back from your time on social media, because it is a hard thing to track, then it's time to really pay attention to the hours in and the money you're getting back. And then the other question, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you love it, social media is an important part of your life, it feels great being on there, you look forward to logging on, you look forward to the connections, and 1 being you can't stand it, you wish you could leave, it just feels like this thing that keeps pulling you back. So scale of 1 to 10, what's the fulfillment you cultivate through your social media relationship and the time spent there? A 1, 2 to 3, a 3, 0, a 5, 4. This is hilarious. I mean, as I said, this has been 3,000 people I've taught this to in the last year. And very rarely do I ever get anybody who's over a 5 out of 10, which to me is just kind of bonkers. It's but we keep doing it. We keep pouring this time in. Why? Because the marketing people told us that we have to be on social media if we want to be relevant in the world. I can tell you, I'm perfectly relevant in the world and I'm not on social media. There's ways to do it. There's more satisfying ways that you can go about it. So let's get into that fun stuff. So the next question, this is a really important one, is what would you do with all the extra time you could have if you didn't do social media? So let's just pretend it's that 10 hours per week, 40 hours per month. What could you be doing differently with that time? Let's just say Facebook went out of business tomorrow, or Instagram or Meta or TikTok, wherever you're spending your time on social media. They went out of business tomorrow and you get all that time back. What do you do with it? Is it more reading, studying, learning? Are you going to be doing other strategies? Are you going to be learning the guitar? There's a lot of things you can do when you take that time back. For me, 7 years later, a lot has changed. I get more time to rest. I take naps in the middle of the day. My work hours on average are 6 to 6.5 hours, not 9 to 14 hours. Get more time for adventure. My business has grown year after year since leaving social media. It didn't go down, it went up. I play professional golf as my hobby. I get more time for my family. I'm on dad venture time every day at 3:30 when I get off work, and I get to go be with my kid till bedtime. And so it's a beautiful thing. And I'm not feeling pulled by social media. It was really interesting when I did leave. I had all these experiences, and I feel like I live a blessed life. And I didn't have anywhere to share that. I didn't have any way to like go get likes and comments and have people see that I was living a good life. And it was a really interesting shift when I realized, like, oh, this is for me. This is for my heart and my mind and the intimate relationships I have in my direct life. I don't need anybody to witness me or my life. I'm just living it and being it and doing it. And it's a beautiful thing to not need the approval of the world to tell you you're doing a good job. So how do we do this? How do we thrive in business without social media? How do you actually succeed? So every year, New Year's, I pick a word to kind of themify, like a mantra that I can keep coming back to day in and day out. And the year I left social media, I knew there was a word that was really, really important. And I actually chose this word 2 years in a row because I had to remember what it meant. Any guesses on what the word was? This word became my growth strategy. It became how I lived in my local life, how I did business online. It changed my business models. Any guesses on what that word might be? Oh, is the slides not changing? Are you on? I have one word for you. Okay, cool. Vulnerability, connection. Connection's close. Service, close. Freedom, nope, wasn't freedom. I like freedom, but it wasn't that. Partnerships, community, commitment. We're close. The word was relationships. What does it mean to be in relationship with others? We've gotten so far away from it. We're so disconnected from our food sources. We're so disconnected from where things come from. We're disconnected. We live in these little microcosms. We can get anything by just clicking a button on the internet and it comes to us. And I needed to remember what it meant to be in relationships with people. Oh, that one jumped ahead. So what we're going to be going through here are 18 relationships-based strategies. I'm going to encourage you to write down the ones that like scream to your heart the loudest while we go through this, because these are going to be really important. If you're serious about leaving social media, these are going to be really important for you. So the first one is email marketing. I mean, the majority of you are probably doing email marketing. Email marketing is ridiculously important. This is your direct line of communication with the people who want to hear from you. If they signed up, they're asking to hear from you about the things that you're doing. Don't be one of those people that grows an email list and then you go cold on them and you don't email them for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And if that is you, then email them today and say, please forgive me. I'm so sorry I lost touch. I don't have any excuses other than life was busy or I was stressed or I went through these things. And anyways, I'm coming back. How are you doing? If you don't know, like I write my email list once or twice a week. I'll send valuable stuff, YouTube videos, coaching sessions, podcast episodes, articles, templates, invitations to events like this. I'm in constant communication. My open rates are 30 to 40% on average. And because people want to hear from me. And then when I'm doing trainings like the one that starts today, it's like there's this warmth and this trust because I'm consistent. I learned a long time ago, I taught 500 meditation workshops between 2009 and 2012. And what I learned from that is consistency is the key to building community, to building trust, to having people like know, oh, like this person shows up regularly. This is fantastic. So email marketing, you have to be doing it. If you don't have an email list, that's the number one priority. Substack is a great place to start building an email list right now. It's a tool that's growing a lot of steam right now. If you don't have an email list, go check out Substack. You can run a podcast through it. You can use it as a blog. People can donate money. You can charge money for it. There's a lot of things you can do on it, and it's an easy tool to use. So number two, signature workshop. Create a signature workshop and then take your signature workshop on tour. You are all at my signature workshop. This signature workshop in 12 presentations, that's 12 hours of teaching time, has grown my email list by over 3,000 people in the last year. That's a lot of people joining my email list from me just sharing this lesson. And what's beautiful is the signature workshop is like the bottom of the metaphorical mountain. The top of the mountain is the ultimate transformation, that if people come on the long-term journey with you, that's where you're taking them. This is like the entry point. And so you create this workshop experience, and then you approach other people, hub leaders, as Tad calls it. You know, you approach other hubs. Can I come teach this free workshop? Here's the results people are going to get. They're going to learn how to do business without social media. If they're like, yeah, I think my audience would love that, they host you. You collect emails from people that join. They promote the workshop. And then you just tour that, and you keep improving the workshop every time you do it. Those of you that may have saw this a year and a half ago, the slides look similar, but there's some extra slides I've added in, more marketing strategies that just keep learning and refining what this experience is. And then at the end of the workshop, you're going to have some other call to adventure. So it's like, this is the taste test. This is the appetizer for the meal. And then you're going to call them to adventure. Join my membership, my program, my online community, buy my audio library. You're trying to give people, you're trying to share in a signature workshop. You share your story and your philosophy. That creates resonance and trust. It's like the Sorting Hat in Harry Potter, where people can identify as like, this is in deep resonance. This is exactly what I needed. And then you give them their first breakthrough experience. So in a 60-minute workshop, the breakthrough experience is probably 30 minutes of it, maybe even 40 minutes of it. You're giving them like the full taste of like, this is what it's like to work with me. And then the very end of it, after some Q&A time, you call them to adventure. And that's where you're pitching whatever it is that you do as far as your services or your products go. This has been the simplest, most effective strategy. I don't know why my slides keep getting stuck. I'm sorry about that. I'll pay more attention. So this has been the most simple and effective marketing strategy I have ever implemented in 19 years of creatorship. It is literally so easy. Once you have the signature workshop designed, you have a landing page template where people sign up for it. And then you create a template outreach email. And then once somebody says, yes, I'd love to host you, then you have literally like an automation series that goes out, book your thing here, give the dates, you send them to a folder. The folder has 5 pre-written emails. The folder has a bunch of pre-written social media posts so that they can easily promote your signature workshop. And it's the easiest, most fun, effective way. I mean, I'm assuming the majority of you out here are coaches, you're teachers, you do workshops, you offer some form of transformational or experiential thing that you're trying to do. And this is just like, you're getting introduced to new people, you're creating new relationships. I usually reciprocate, ask them like, great, you're hosting me. Do you have a workshop you want to come teach my audience? And then for the relationships that feel great, once you've done the workshop, you book yourself in for next year. You do it again. So this takes us into the next thing. And these are, this is one of the most uncommon practices that I've seen, is licensing your content. So as I said, I taught a lot of meditation workshops. At the end of that, I felt like I was ready to retire from teaching meditation. And I wanted to, and I did, spent about 1.5 years, 2 years producing a world-class meditation library with my buddy Blair. We did 48 meditation tracks between 3 minutes and 60 minutes long. It was like all the techniques that I'd ever practiced and shared in workshop settings. And we did custom composed music for every track. And then I started licensing my meditations to a bunch of different meditation apps. There's hundreds of meditation, mindfulness, hypnosis apps out there, yoga apps, etc. And so licensing is amazing. I have got my meditations into the ears of millions of meditators. I've generated hundreds of thousands of dollars of passive income, and I have never had to build a meditation audience since doing that. I haven't needed to teach more workshops. I literally created the library, and I've been collecting passive income for years. The income keeps growing. I find more apps. Usually each year I'll find 1 or 2 new apps that want to host my stuff. And so if you have an audio library, if you're producing courses, there might be apps, companies, institutions, governing bodies in the niche that you're in who would license what you have and then possibly repackage it and sell it. And the way licensing works, the way that I've done it, is always non-exclusive. So nobody has exclusive rights to my stuff except for me. I license it non-exclusively to a platform. They will pay me either outright. Usually it's not outright though. Usually it's like they'll pay me a set amount per track per year as like a licensing fee per year, or they'll pay me monthly, quarterly, or annually based on how many app subscribers they have and how many people engage with my content. There's a bunch of different ways that the relationships can work, but licensing is one of the most untalked about things I've seen in the online marketing space. And it's one of the most effective, profitable ways to grow your audience and grow your income with ease, provided you're creating these assets already. It's a great leverageable thing. If you have a library of audios or courses that aren't necessarily doing a lot right now, I would suggest spending a day researching who you can reach out to. I have a course called The Business of Meditation inside my Magic Mind community. And there's a whole month module on licensing your tracks, and you get access to my spreadsheet of over 100 meditation apps, plus all the email templates and stuff like that that you use when you start to develop those relationships. So licensing is a beautiful thing. Next, guest appearances. We're all told, go on a podcast tour. Woohoo! Go write some blogs. Think about podcast tours. And this is the truth. I did a video on YouTube about this in a podcast episode the other day. People listen to podcasts. They have like their go-to. Here's my 2 or 3 podcasts I like to listen to. They listen to podcasts. Very rarely are people going to listen to the podcast, go to the guest website, sign up for their email list, and then purchase their stuff. It's such a rare thing because people are passive when they're listening. They're driving, they're doing the dishes, they're whatever. They're out on a walk. And so they're distracted. They're only half with the podcast. And so as soon as the podcast is over, they go on to the next podcast. And so podcast tours are great, but what I suggest and the strategy that I've taken to that I find really effective is I reach out to these same people that have the podcast and say, I have this signature workshop. Would you like to host me for the workshop? I wait for them to say yes on that. Once they've said yes on the workshop, I say, I see you have a podcast. Would you like to have me on your podcast a week or 2 before the signature workshop goes out so your audience can get to know me? And then we can promote the signature workshop in the podcast. It's a way more effective use of podcasting than just like going and trying to get 40 podcast tours. I was on the $100 MBA podcast earlier this year. The same guy that started Webinar Ninja. And he has a big podcast. He has millions of downloads every month. And so I go on the podcast. It was a great interview. We had this awesome connection. And then I checked the stats. It was like 120, 130,000 downloads in the first week. I'm like, holy cow. You know how much my email list grew from that 120, 130,000 people listening to the podcast? I thought it was going to be huge. I'm like, it's going to be at least hundreds, maybe even thousands after this. 20 people that week joined my email list. 20. And 100 and something thousand people listened to the podcast episode. It was a good interview. Then I did a signature workshop for his audience. And my email list grew by almost 500 people. It's a big difference. Podcast tours are not the most effective list building thing. They're good for relationships. They're good for, having an inspiring conversation. But signature workshop is way more powerful for growing your email list, one conversation or one class at a time. So I did used to do, oh, thanks for the slide reminder. I will get it by the end of this. So the podcast thing is like, it can work. Guest blogging. When I was teaching meditation workshops and growing my list for that, I did a lot of guest blogging. I'd write articles. I'd build a spreadsheet over the course of a couple of years. And every time I'd have a new article, I'd send it out to all these different places. That strategy is a little bit harder now. Back then it was kind of the Wild West, and they would just have like an email address that I could BCC all of these different platforms like Elephant Journal and Yoga Journal and all those things. But yeah, guest appearances are good. They're good relationship builders. But if they lead into a signature workshop, and then your signature workshop leads into the next thing. Next is profit sharing. Profit sharing is an amazing thing. So like the relationship I have with all these meditation apps, that's a profit share. I get rewarded based on engagement with my content. My son and I started a kids publishing company called Magic Kids. Any of you parents and grandparents out there, you're going to want to check this out. So it started out as audio stories and illustrated books. And then the last year we've been working on, it's going to be like the Spotify for kids. So we'll have new audio stories every week. We've worked with over 100 voice actors. We have a team of producers and musicians that score all the music and sound effects. The idea is like cartoons for the imagination to get kids off screens and back into their bodies and nature. Every story comes with curriculum that a teacher, homeschooler, educator, caregiver can use to help kids integrate the lessons and themes. We've also licensed, we'll have close to 1,000 kids songs from musicians all over the world. We have a growing library of meditations. We have a grown-up mode section with a bunch of resources for parents. And so this is a rev share. We're the first ever fair pay publishing company. Spotify pays their artists, I think, 0.001 cents per play. What we're doing is differently. We pay a signing bonus. So as a musician on Spotify, you actually have to pay to be on Spotify. We pay our musicians to be on the Magic Kids app. And then 50% of our revenue goes back into the artist pool so that our artists can be paid well to be doing what they're doing. And so that's a profit sharing. You know, we're trying to bring a collective of artists together, and then everybody will be rewarded based on how many people we have using the app and how many people are, what the engagement is like with each individual piece of content. So that's just another way to go about it. And I would say it's pretty amazing. If you have something like, you know, you could even have an online community that you have other facilitators contributing their online courses to. And then you profit share based on the sales of those particular courses. I have a new partnership with Meditation University, and that's what they're doing, is they're licensing all these different courses that are all in the niche of meditation. And for any of you people out there in that realm, you could go check out Meditation University. They're looking for creators like you. And then from there, you collect the income. They grow the email list. So with us, with Magic Kids, we're going hard on marketing when the app goes live, and we're going to help grow the list. But we're also intending to grow a giant army of amazing, talented artists who are going to contribute to what we're doing. Here's the next one. This leads into this: collaborations. So I would not have the business I have had I not collaborated with incredible artists, creators, techies, etc. So it really started when I was doing my meditations. Blair joined me. He produced my meditations. He made custom music, and I didn't have the money to pay him. And so I gave him a cut of what we did. When we built the Great E-Course Adventure, 9 months of production, building this epic platform, my two buddies were very talented, one in video, one in tech and design, and we collaborated and we did rev share. Now with Magic Media, I've shifted my business model from client work. Instead of doing client work for the last 5 years, we do partnerships. So instead of somebody paying us $100,000 to do a project, we take a retainer and then we get a revenue share for the next 3 years. 3 years is our typical contract. We did a shorter term one with Tad. We built the Marketing for Hippies membership, and then we did a rev share, and we supported with the launch strategy. If any of you have gone through the slow launch course, that was the process that we did to launch his community. And it's been beautiful because the entrepreneur in me wants to be rewarded for the outcome. And even though we got paid well for doing these big projects, building communities, building online courses, etc., it drained my soul to not have ownership over the end result, the reward, or sometimes, you know, the reward wasn't as great as it should have been or could have been. But that's the risk you take as an entrepreneur. Collaborations are amazing. So let's just say you have a great idea. You can feel the unlimited potential that's behind you. You could look to your artist community. There's so many talented artists and creators that are working crappy corporate jobs that they hate, And if you come to them and you've got a clear vision for what you're trying to do, you can pitch them to be on your team and give them 20, 30% of the gain of what you earn. And this can be an investment. You know, they could do this as their side hustle, 5 or 10 hours a week, and you guys build something together, and then hopefully you all win the game at the end of that. Collaborations are amazing. Same goes with workshops. You know, if you collaborate on a workshop like that slow launch one I was talking about with Tad, we collaborated on the content, we delivered it together, we sold it together, and then we split the earnings. And now we both have those assets in our individual communities as well. So collaborations are great. You have to be, you know, you have to just be upfront. You have to know what you're trying to do, and then you do it. So what I've found is there has to be a visionary in every relationship. So chances are you're going to need to be the visionary. You got to write up an actual plan of what it is, how you're going to do it, what the marketing strategy is, etc., and then enroll people once that vision is clear. The visionary needs to be clear so that you can enroll the people to help you get it done. All right, let's see here. Where'd my slide go? There we go. Okay, next one, affiliate marketing. I'm sure you've all heard of affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is basically you got a product, and instead of paying Mark Zuckerberg thousands and thousands of dollars to do ad campaigns, you go to your friends and your colleagues and say, hey, I've got this trainer and I've got this product. If you promote it to your audience, I'll give you 20 or 30%. It's really easy to set up. Thrivecart, it's one of the tools that we use. There's plenty of tools out there for doing that sort of thing. Affiliate marketing is great. My signature workshop training that starts today, I have 5 affiliates, and they've all, you know, some of them interviewed me. They've been promoting it. It's helped spread the word. Not only has it helped people sign up and find out about what I'm doing, but it's also grown my email list for those that didn't want to join the actual training. So affiliate marketing, you just have to be organized. You know, you don't reach out to affiliates 2 weeks before your thing goes live. You want to reach out to affiliates 3 months before, 4 months before, so they can get you in their schedule. And then you just have to create a simple resource library. Here's 5 pre-written emails. Here's a bunch of pre-written social media posts. And you just make it really straightforward for them to just kind of take the steps, copy, paste, make it their own, and then promote you. And then if people sign up, they win. It's a great way to build relationships. Affiliate marketing is a wonderful thing. Sponsorships, this is something that we're going towards with Magic Kids. I have a buddy that has the Conscious Late Night Show. And so he's finding sponsorships right now. And so like he got this one tech sponsor who has like this special live streaming camera. They donated the camera. They're giving him $5,000 or $10,000 to sponsor a bunch of episodes. And, you know, that's cash. With Magic Kids, we're doing the same thing. So we're finding sponsors for the app who are giving us cash to sponsor stories. And that allows us to make more stories, which is a wonderful thing. YouTube Shorts, for me, YouTube is not social media. It's entertainment and education. I don't look at it as a social media platform. I'm not there to be social. I don't do groups or community or commenting or sharing or anything like that. It's a very different thing for me. Everybody will have their own balance and boundaries with that. But with Magic Kids, and I'll just give you a quick example. We're Magic Kids. We are rolling out 30 comedy commercials in 30 days. We will be on social media, but the reason it's going to work, we've hired one of the biggest comedy ads agencies in the world, the Harmon Brothers. They did the Squatty Potty commercial and Poo Pourri. They have epic online or comedy commercials. They've got 2 billion views, over $1 billion in revenue that they've generated over the years. And so I tried hiring locally for my marketing strategy. It just 4 people came and went. It did not work. And so then I was like, I've been attracted to these guys for a long time. I'm going to work with them. And so we've produced 30 comedy commercials. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek because I've always been into comedy. And I believe that, you know, if you make people smile, they'll stay with you a while. But if you make them laugh till they cry, they'll pull out their wallet and buy. And so this is just a sample of one of the 30 commercials. This one's called Screen Zombies 2. We have a whole series of screen zombie videos because, you know, when you're a parent, you got your kid in front of a screen, you shut off the screen and they freak out. And we're like, there has to be a name for that. And so we came up with Screen Zombies, and this is one of the videos that we did. Oh, I got to make sure the audio is working here. So this is only 59 seconds. But just to give you some ideas and inspiration on how you can be creative if you are going to be making video content.
I'm stuck. Go on without me. I'm sorry. Screen zombies.
Hey, zombies! Wanna scream?
Hey, welcome to Magic Kids. This week's story is called
The Other Side.
Yay! Magic Kids. Audio stories, music, and imagination meditations.
And fun activities too! If you're tired of battling screen zombies with your family, then download the Magic Kids app today.
So just a wee sample of what is possible with some creativity, humor, and fun. So we have a whole bunch of those particular styles of videos, and it's been hilarious and great to do. We're working with an amazing team. And you know what's going to help that is we're going to be pouring in $150,000 to $175,000 of marketing budget to blow this thing up, to get those videos to go viral. Social media can work if you have a big budget and you have a strategy. And having somebody that has been there and done that and generated a lot of money successfully on social media is also helpful. Mind you, I've wasted a lot of money on doing social media campaigns with experts. These guys have been amazing, incredibly generous, and there's talks of a JV partnership. So if your YouTube Shorts is interesting, if you are a YouTuber and you do YouTube, doing 60-second YouTube Shorts is great. YouTube's trying to keep up with TikTok and stay relevant there. So they're really rewarding exposure when you do YouTube Shorts, which are the under 60-second videos. So that's something to consider if you are enjoying creating short content. And I've been having a lot of fun with that this year as well. Okay, so here's a bunch of others. I'm not going to go into them. These are other things that we've been doing with Magic Kids. Press releases to local media. Engage with your local media, newspapers, magazine, radio stations, etc. If you're doing stuff locally, engage with them because they're looking for cool things to shine a spotlight on. Market and trade shows. Most of our Magic Kids book sales have come from in-person market and trade shows, selling to retail stores, generosity marketing. If you can, give your stuff away to spread exposure. We gave 500 books away when we launched Magic Kids to a bunch of different organizations. We actually found a bunch of companies. Harmon Brothers was one of them, which was how we got the foot in the door to start working with them, is I sent their team 200 books. I'm like, I love the way you do it. How many parents do you have on your team? Great. We're sending you a gift in the mail. Comedy videos, go on a workshop tour. When I was teaching meditation, every year I'd go on a few tours. So Edmonton was one of my most successful places. I would book 5 2-hour intro meditation workshops, and we would get anywhere from 15 to 50 people come out to those. I would charge $20 to $30. And at the end of it, I had my audio library. So I would sell my audio library, and people, you know, it was $100 library. I'd give a 40% off discount if people purchased there. So I'd make the tickets, and then I would make money on my audio library. And then at the end of the week, I would do a day-long workshop. And so I would sell that for, I think it was $200 or something like that. And I would get a bunch of people that would join that day-long workshop as well. So if you have some cities around, you know, yoga studios, wellness centers, there's plenty of places that you can call and be like, I have this workshop. Would you be willing to host? They'll promote it. They will help spread the word. They'll hang up posters. You know, they'll probably keep a cut. That's the way it usually worked, is it was just a rev share. So they would keep 30%. I would keep 70%. That was often how it was. So going on tour is great. And you can practice on the closest city to you and see how it goes. Audience contests, and then finding local partnerships. So those are all the things. Now let's just do the magic formula. This kooky guy here, he's been on social media too long. So how much money do you make from social media? Write it down. Is it $1,000? Is it $0? Is it $10,000? We're talking monthly here. So let's just say it's $1,000 per month that you can honestly say you're making from social media. How many hours a week are you doing on social media? So let's just say you're doing 10 hours a week, which is 40 a month. That equals $25 an hour for the time you're investing in social media. My guess is your time's worth more than $25 an hour. You could probably hire somebody to do that job so that you can do more of the things that are going to make you the $100 or hundreds of dollars. And this is just an important thing to just be really clear on, because we need to know, we're entrepreneurs, we're business people. We need to know if our marketing strategy is working or not. If it's not working, then we have to change it. We have to go a different way. We have to try something else other than the like post and hope strategy that so many creators do. So social media can work if you have a clear strategy. If you have a publishing schedule and you're consistent with that publishing schedule so that you can pre-schedule everything and not need to be on there in real time. If you're disciplined, if you have the ability to put your phone in a box at the end of the day and not check anymore. If you can hire a team like what we're doing with Harmon Brothers. And if you make your work art, like those comedy videos, if you make your work art, it will create more resonance. It will stand out more in the sea of sameness that there is on the wall that people just scroll past. So those are the ways that it can work. If you like some of the elements of social media, we use Mighty Networks for a lot of our partnership project. My Magic Mind's in Mighty Networks. We built 15 plus Mighty Networks. It's great because you can build your own social media platform where you can have courses, communities, live events, blogging, forums. You can connect people in all sorts of different ways. You can monetize it in a lot of different ways. If you haven't really checked out Mighty Networks, it's worth the time to check out, because then you get to make the rules. It's your social media space. So my final call is just give yourself the gift, reevaluate your marketing strategy. Is what you're doing working? Is it providing you the results that you're looking for? Is it helping you to grow your audience in the ways that you believe are possible and the income that you think you should be earning right now? Decide if it works for you and your business. Spend a day making a new plan. This weekend is coming quick. Maybe you could spend 3 or 4 hours with a journal off your computer and think about some of the things that I talked about today, and design a 1-page or 2-page marketing strategy that you could experiment with for the next 6 months. Leave social media if you must, or just spend less time there, and protect your time and consciousness. I mean, I really, it feels like there's a war on our consciousness. And if we're not careful, we are taking in so much information that is unnecessary and unhelpful for us to live our best life. And it's important that we protect ourselves, and not being on social media is a good way to protect yourself. Building real village in our local communities is a way to protect yourself, to insulate yourself from the chaos and the difficulties. I don't think the world is going to get better before it gets a little bit worse. And I think you doing whatever you can to focus on relationship-based marketing is going to support you to rise through all of the turmoil that the world seems to be heading towards right now. If any of you are inspired by the signature workshop thing, this training literally starts in 1 hour and 12 minutes. So if you're up for adventure and you want to make a spontaneous decision, I do have a coupon code for those of you that are here, just to say, hey, way to go, way to join last minute. I just got to find that coupon code. So if you just give me a moment, I'll find that. But this training is going to be awesome. It ends on November 9th. You're going to craft a transformational signature workshop. You're going to take that signature workshop on tour. We're going to give you all of our templates so that it's easy peasy, and you can literally build the system that allows you to start reaching out, getting people to say yes, and then plugging those in so that your calendar for the rest of this year and next year is full of signature workshops. It's only $500 or 2 payments of $247. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to get you immediate results and get you inspired. And you're literally going to teach your first signature workshop while the training is on in the last week of October and first week in November. Lots of things included. You can go to the landing page there to see all the things included. And here is in the chat, for those of you that do want to check it out, there's the coupon code for 15% off, which will save you some cashola. Oh, you already found it. Way to go. You're quicker than me. Thanks for that. Please, when this gets up on YouTube, share this masterclass on social media, because I cannot. Really appreciate it. And that's it. that's all we got. So we have about 10 minutes for Q&A. If anybody has any thoughts or questions that you want to dig into, I'm happy to dig in and see if we can provide even more clarity here. How'd that land with everybody? What was the top takeaway that you have from that? What is one thing you're going to change? How soon will the recording be posted? That's a good question. I would imagine later today, maybe. Hey, Sarah?
I think it would probably be maximum 2 or 3 days. So, but we'll let you know when it's up, either by the Facebook group or the membership.
Yeah. Chris, yes. So I have a course called Going Mighty. We put the course up on YouTube. It's not all of the newest pieces, but it is going to get you to think about building a community, whether you're on Mighty Networks or not. It does show you the whole setup process for Mighty Networks, but the course really focuses on like what to think about when you're building an online community, pricing it, setting, designing, etc. So that's on my Magic Media YouTube channel, youtube.com/Magic Media, MAJIK Media. You can check that out when you go to my course library. That was a really fun course to produce. We always themify our courses when we do these big production courses. And so that one, the theme was you're a party host. So we actually threw a massive party, and all of the introductory scenes were shot during this party. So we use the metaphor of the party in all these scenes to help land home the lessons. With collaborations, do you get $0 up front? This is different. So like with our collaboration with Magic Media, we do take a retainer. You know, for some of my buddies, it might be like, dude, I can't work for free for the next 3 months. Can you like give me $500 a month or something like that so that I can like keep focus on here? So that's up for you to negotiate. That's one of the things as an entrepreneur, we got to negotiate, you know, what you can afford, what they feel they need in order to do the thing. And then you go from there. So I would just encourage that you have it on paper. Whatever the agreement is, have it on paper. It's really important. Even if you go to a notary to just get the stamp of approval that this is indeed a contract. Diana says, great about podcasting and offering the workshop also on YouTube shorts that are not SM. What's SM? Oh, social media. Got it. The purpose of this workshop. Sharing content in a more constructive way. Do you consider blogging to be social media? No, blogging is writing. I mean, I blog. Substack is a great place to blog, or if you have a blog on your website, just make sure you send every blog out to your newsletter so that you keep those people fed. How do you get the email addresses from podcasts? Well, that's the thing is most podcasts, you don't get any email addresses. That at the end of the interview, the podcast host is going to be like, so where can people find you? It's like, oh, come over to my social media, or, oh, come to my thing, or I've got this event here, sign up for my class. But, you know, 99.5% of people are not going to go to your website and sign up for your email list. And so you don't get those emails, which is why I say doing the signature workshop pitch, because then you can create a landing page that the host promotes for you. And then they're going to send all their people to join your workshop. And then presto, you're getting those email lists direct. And then once they say yes, you say, hey, can you host me on your podcast before the workshop? Yeah, Going Mighty is the name of the course. Is crafting your signature workshop your signature workshop? No, Business Without Social Media is my signature workshop. The Craft Your Signature Workshop training is my flagship training. Little bit different. So I am teaching a how to develop your flagship training in January. This is kind of like the prequel to that, because once you have a signature workshop, it's like, what are you going to offer next? What I'm seeing is like less people want evergreen courses, more people want live experiences. And so we went all in at Magic Media on evergreen courses for years. We would spend, 3 to 9 months producing our epic courses. When you go check out Going Mighty, you're going to be like, holy shit, this was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. We built it for Mighty Networks. And what people want is like, you don't need the production quality you used to need in order to have something that's awesome. Instead, give people live experiences, help them connect with each other, help them connect with themselves. Invite them into a space where you can facilitate those relationships and those transformations, hold them accountable, hold each other accountable. Like that's seems to be what people are looking for more now than ever. Awesome, Samantha. I'm glad it was helpful for you. Hopefully, you know, I would say for all of you, pick one of these strategies that I mentioned today, and, you know, devote half of your time that you spend on social media right now, if there is time to devote, and put it towards this new strategy, this new thought stream instead. That would be my suggestion. Yeah.
I just want to pop in the chat here now. This interview that you and Tad did together earlier in the month, this is a YouTube link. So if anybody wants to know more about the signature workshop that Bradley's offering, there's a YouTube link to an interview about it, so you can get some more info.
Perfect. And you can also, on my YouTube channel, you can find, I took Tad through my signature workshop, part of my process. And that is on my website or on my YouTube channel as well. You can find it somewhere there if you're curious about what that process looks like. Awesome. Megan, glad it was inspiring. Thanks, Anthony. Glad that was gold. I mean, that was a very spontaneous thing. We didn't know if we were going to actually post that or not. So what are the top takeaways? Everybody just share that's still here. What is one thing you're going to take away from this and implement? You know, we're only in September, which means if you really focus now on a new strategy, by Christmas, you could be seeing completely different results. You could have built the foundation and be heading in a whole new trajectory with your marketing strategy as you head into the new year. While you're answering in the chat, YouTube Shorts, awesome, Diana. Have fun with it. Watch, go binge some of the best YouTubers out there and just get creatively inspired by them. It's a healthy use of time if you're going to binge stuff on YouTube. Katie, another question. The subject of what I'd put in my signature workshop is still being developed. So maybe that needs to be developed before the workshop. That's what I mean. We're covering that in the training that happens today. Is like in session 1, you do come up with your topic. Jennifer, I'm stoked you're doing the training too. Sarah here, I loved that you said I'm perfectly relevant in life and I'm not on social media. Yeah, even though I got erased, I'm still relevant. I still exist. And in fact, I think I have more freedom now than I did before. Chris, create consistency with email lists. Keep it simple with recommendations for videos and podcasts. Yeah, like if you're writing and podcasting, just make sure you're sharing that consistently with your email list. Anthony, the Comedy Edge. I am teaching a comedy training in October, which I'm very excited about, where we're gonna all write and produce comedy commercials together. That is, I think that's the proper link for it if you're interested in that. It's gonna be so fun. I'm very excited about that. Samantha, people want to live and not want live, not evergreen. That's news, and that's what I'm going for. Now, evergreen, here's the thing. I just have a video on my YouTube that came out a couple weeks ago, and it's around why audio is more powerful than video. So if you are in the transformational space, go all in on audio, like create transformational experiences that people can listen to. So it's like watching a video, you're being pulled outside of yourself. It's hard to watch a video where somebody's guiding you through a transformational experience, because you get distracted and you might be judging the video quality or whatever. Audio is amazing for facilitating an experience inside of people, because they can put on their headphones, they can close their eyes, they can go out into nature, and you can literally alter them in amazing ways. You can help people have their own epiphanies, their own discoveries, etc. So as far as evergreen content goes, audio will always be relevant. And more people are going to audio. You know, we used to do such high production stuff. Like we would spend so much money. I would spend so much money on team wages and stuff like that when we were doing production. And, you know, here I am a bunch of years later, and audio is just such a powerful way to do it, and live experiences. So hopefully that inspires your direction. And behind me here, that's my production booth. Literally some 2x4s with insulation, some nice fabric on them. That's my sound buffer. And then I've just got a nice Rode mic and the little cage. And when I go do production for audio stuff, I literally turn the cage. So I'm in that corner and it's like you're in a professional recording booth. This is a very cheap setup. Like all in all, with all the gear and the sound installation there, that's like $1,000 right there. And so, you know, that's all of our Magic Kids stories we produce in that corner. We do all the voice acting, everything. It's all you really need. I do have a blog on my website for all our recording gear if you're interested in that.
Oh God, this has been so great and so many juicy nuggets. And I realize we're just on the hour now. So
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, and I know you've got to shoot off. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here in the membership. And where can people catch you? Where do you want people to go to find you?
Yeah, just come on over to magicmedia.com. If you're on my email list, then you'll be getting all the emails that I send out. Katie, yeah, I always do a 30-day policy that if you join and you regret it within 30 days, then happy to give you your money back. But if it's after 30 days, I've already spent the money, so you got to stick with it. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super grateful. It's always a delight to share this. If you have a hub and you think this workshop would be valuable, reach out to me and I'd be happy to book myself in to come and teach this workshop to your crew as well. And don't be a stranger, everybody. Thanks for being here. And I hope at least one thing is like, yes, I'm going that way.
There were many things. Thank you, Bradley.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
the best.